Nacho Libre is the most overrated wrestler in the history of film. As a movie, Nacho Libre is alright. I've now seen the movie like 3 times total, and I can safely say that Nacho Libre does hold up in entertainment value. However, that's not the main question I want to tackle here today. Who is Nacho Libre the wrestler? Everybody looks back in this movie and they're like, oh, he did well because he beat the main guy at the end of it. Nacho Libre has got to be one of the most overrated superstars I've ever seen, with a win record that is atrocious. I don't even know how he can justify himself as a Lucha Libre superstar. Today, not only will I be doing my usual review, but I will also be doing some match reviews to prove once and for all that Nacho Libre is the most overrated wrestler in all of cinema. If you're new to our channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. Apparently 95% of you guys aren't subscribed who watch these videos. What the fuck are you doing? Go sub! Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. The movie opens up on a young fat kid fighting in a cemetery. What the fuck did I just say? How fucked up do you gotta be to practice wrestling in a funeral home of all things? Young Nacho gets pulled aside by somebody and is told that wrestling is ungodly, apparently. Never sure where that started, but that's a plot point that's gonna carry over the rest of the movie somehow, so might as well get used to it now. Also, this is a fucking Nickelodeon film. Surprisingly, it's not the only Nickelodeon film I've covered up to this point. Shout out to the Good Burger review. The movie then cuts to Jack Black playing a white guy pretending to be Mexican who lives in a gospel and wants to bang a nun. That's the simplest way I can describe this plot. He's a cook for the orphanage, and the only person who actually likes his food in that home is some little fat kid. Let me look up his name. Chancho. That sounds like a fat kid name, Chancho. We get to see a little bit of his life as he goes into the town and gets mugged by his eventual tag team partner. The main reason why he goes through this process is so he can earn more money to feed the children. So how do Steven and Nacho end up preparing for it? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this is by far the worst montage I've ever seen. I realize I made a major mistake while filming this review. Who the fuck is Steven? I don't know where I got that name from. Point is, that's not the guy's name. The guy's actual name is Escoletto. So anytime you hear the name Steven, that's who I'm talking about. Back to the video. Here are the following things that Nacho and Steven do to prepare themselves for the wrestling matches. This includes slingshotting melons into each other, rubbing shit on their faces, shooting each other with bow and arrows, stepping into a bullpen, and then, last but not least, throwing a beehive at one another. In what way is this supposed to help? Like, I was left with more confusion than anything. Is it funny? Absolutely. It's hilarious watching Jack Black in physical comedy roles. From a logic standpoint, what the hell are you doing? We then get to see what their first match looks like. And here we'll be getting our first match review. Our first matchup is Nacho and Skeleton, aka Steven, versus the Stallion and the Pony. I honestly had to Google those names. Those are the best I can find for their names. They look like reject vaudevillains. Let's start off with the technique. The technique for both sides is extremely sloppy. The only notable thing actually about this whole match is the wicked clothesline in the first minute of the matchup. This matchup also ends after a single drop kick, which is lame as fuck. Although Nacho Libre is the best of the 4 people, it's not good to be the best of 3 pieces of dog shit and then maybe I don't know, a Snickers. What's a shitty candy? Jawbreaker. Yeah, let's go with Jawbreaker. Just because you're a Jawbreaker in between 3 piles of shit doesn't mean you're good. It just means you're better than the 3 piles of shit. Anyway, this match sucks. The ending sucked. The only thing that was kind of good was the selling. 1.5 out of 5. Because of this matchup, no matter if they win or lose, they still get money for it, which is actually better than most real-life wrestling indie promotions. Because some of them will just give you like a hot dog and a pat on the back or something. Nacho's gonna go then take that money and then feed the children. He ends up getting a salad, and the fat kid cried himself to sleep that night. The skinny kids are like, oh, thank God, no more pig slop. And then Nacho and the sister start to hit it off a little more. He convinces her to go out for a night on the town, which is just used to stage a mugging, but Nacho, being the dumbass that he is, picks a real fight instead. If this was like a normal girl and he's just walking down the street with her and she's somebody who's impressed with this type of thing, I would understand why he's doing this. We've seen it countless times in other forms of media, so it makes sense. However, she is a nun. I don't know a single nun that promotes violence, and I don't think this plan was just doomed to fail is what I'm saying. And now it is time for our second matchup of the movie. I'm kind of cherry picking matchups here because there's a montage full of them that I'll get to later, but these are the ones that seem like full length matches. Match number 2 Nacho and Skeleton versus the Beastly Midget Team. That's a quote from the team that I took off Wikipedia and the official YouTube clip, so don't get mad at me for that name. Somebody actually hit a motherfucking 619 in this matchup. The two little people were actually a really fun team to watch. The booking again make Nacho look completely dumb. Overall, the matchup was just as sloppy as the first one, except the little people looked 10 times better than Nacho and Skeleton did. But the worst part of this entire matchup is that they didn't even show the finish in this matchup. That's the only reason I'm giving this match a 1.25, slightly lower than the first match. If it did show a finish, I probably would have given it a little higher. But again, Nacho looked fucking terrible. He's now 0-2. Anyway, Nacho talks to Steven and decides that he doesn't want to be a loser anymore. So Steven then comes up with his second dumbass plan of the movie, which is to gather an eagle egg to become the best fighter, which, shocker, doesn't work. When he's like climbing up the cliff and you look out and you see the effects of this movie, I just gotta look and I saw how shitty the effects really are. Remind me of fucking Pair of Kings and the bad effects of that show. There's also a big montage, one after the other, of them getting their asses handed to them. But shout out to the first people who are actually Mexican wrestlers. This movie constantly wants to do PowerPoint transitions instead of, you know, creative transitions. Like it was made from some 6-year-old's computer and they're making a presentation for their English class. Nacho and Steven then come up with an idea to learn from the very best since their eagle plan didn't work. Nacho wants to go talk to Ramses, I hope I'm saying his name right, who I guess is the main antagonist of this film just because he's the best wrestler. He is kind of a dick, but I can't really blame him. It's not exactly what his character, like people still cheer for him, so they like the bad guy. Anyway, Nacho and Steven go to this guy's party. Nacho sneaks in as a mariachi band member, has a really bad solo, and then Steven gets this little side plot with some heavy-set lady. Like the heavy-set lady also has tunnels that she can crawl in and out of, which I don't know how she gets through those tunnels. Maybe she puts some butter on the sides and oh, who am I kidding? She'd probably eat the fucking butter too. After causing a big scene, those two end up leaving the party, and Steven throws a corn on a cob into someone's eye. This is never brought up again. If I haven't mentioned this already, the pacing of this movie, it's an hour and a half, but I feel like everything is so rushed that you have no time to digest what you watch. It might be like a 2-minute match and then, oh, he's depressed for a little bit. Nacho's having a heartfelt moment with Chancho. Well, too bad, here's another wrestling match. I just feel like pacing could have been a lot better in this movie. And yes, it's a Nickelodeon movie, and yes, it's made for children. Even Good Burger had better pacing than this. That's an entire different realm of randomness. Nacho then goes to hide in the woods, which isn't even woods, it's like a desert. They're in Mexico, so I don't know what the hell kind of woods he was talking about. I don't even know his reasoning, honestly. Like, now I've seen the movie 3 times and I still don't understand why. If somebody else could tell me why he was in the woods to begin with, leave it in the comments down below, because I have no explanation for that. Steven eventually finds him and lets him know that he actually gets to have a match against Ramsey because Steven ran over a guy's foot. Again, no consequences for Steven for committing another assault on somebody. And now we get to set the stage against the champion. There's no goddamn way that Nacho should be in this situation, even from a booking standpoint. Ramsey's a highly decorated fighter in Mexico, countless wins under his belt, holding the top championship of the company. And then this bozo who's like 0-8 has not won a single matchup in his career and has got his ass kicked in every single matchup that he's had, now gets to go one-on-one with the champion because reasons? If you want to tell me that he has a good performance in this last match, fine. I respect that, because I'll get to that in a second. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that Nacho Libre is a good wrestler, I'm going to laugh and I'm going to spit in your face. So we have the top champion in all of Mexico versus the white Mexican who is 0-8 and is lost to the vaudevillains, the little people, the twins, probably some hookers, and Christianity. In no way, shape, or form should this matchup be even close. Which then brings us into our final match. Nacho Libre versus Ramsey. Let me just say right away, this is easily the best matchup of the movie. Showing off good fundamental moves early on, like the early lockup, and a really nice looking suplex. Ramsey gets a 2-piece combo, hitting a modified attitude adjustment, and then the Ultimate Warrior splash, but Nacho kicks out at 2. The match starts to break down after Nacho reverses a powerbomb, kicking him in the butt, and he ends up winning winning a portion of the crowd over. Steven then slaps Ramsey, which is definitely a disqualification, but the ref does not give a fuck. Ramsey then gets to do some heel work by taking away Nacho's mask, which in Lucha Libre, for those of you who don't know, is the ultimate form of disrespect. Anyway, so Ramsey strips him of his manhood, and then he proceeds to headbutt Nacho in the ass. Yes, you heard me correctly, that's exactly what he does. A very awkward looking move, but again, I've seen worse. Then these two get very sloppy on their striking. Doesn't look fucking real. It looks fake as shit. This whole thing is fake. And then just before Nacho's big comeback spot, Ramsey gets a clear 3 count when he holds down Nacho by his neck. I guess the referee was asleep or something mid-match like I was. Missed the entire thing. No joke, when I watched this movie for the second time back, I fell asleep before the ending of this match. Don't get me wrong, it's an entertaining match, but I was tired as hell that day. Finally, after Sister, whatever her name is, the love interest, enters the arena, Nacho, with the newly found power of boners, makes his comeback. He executes a monkey flip, which looked really nice, and of course the infamous dive to the outside. The finish comes from a pin to the outside, which somehow woke this referee up to count that, even though that's something you don't count, because it's illegal. Fuck this referee. That's like, what, 3 times that this referee's fucked up? Clearly he's got a bias towards Nacho. I'm guessing he got paid off beforehand. And that's where the matchup ends. Is this an entertaining match? Yes. Is this Nacho's best performance out of his many, many matches of losses before this? Yes. Do I think he's a better wrestler because of this performance? No. He still lost 8 matches beforehand. Somebody else go find me where he improved in this movie, and I will go ahead and I will swallow my pride and I will admit I'm wrong. But there's not a single portion in this movie where I believe that Nacho should have won this matchup. Even as like a simple upset. Overweight Jack Black and his 250-pound ass did not deserve to win a single matchup. Also, fuck this referee so much in this matchup. I hate this guy. I hope he gets fired. This matchup's getting a 3 out of 5. At the end of the day, Nacho gets his win. He gets the glory for a little bit. He gets the money. He gets the girl. But still, all the orphans don't have parents. The end. Is Nacho Libre a bad movie? Meh. It's a simple kids movie for simple kids. I don't think it's as good as people say it is. I wouldn't even put it past Good Burger, to be honest. Like, I had far more enjoyment watching that movie than I did watching this one. So I got 3 more things to say before we leave this video. First off, let's talk about King of the Hill. Normally I talk about all the movies that I've covered so far, and whatever one's the best one I've covered is my King of the Hill. Currently it's Inglourious Bastards, and this movie's coming nowhere close to it. As for the rating of this movie, I think it's a tough call. I'll put it at a 5. Nacho Libre gets a 5 out of 10 for me. Not a bad movie by any means, but I've seen a lot better. And finally, to answer the question that I posed at the beginning of this video, is Nacho Libre an overrated wrestler? I'll leave that up to you guys, but I stand by my opinion. And on that note, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you all for watching, and go ahead and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. We have a bunch of other content on this channel that we hope you go check out. Go check out our Twitch and Discord. Links are going to be in the description of this video, as well as our channel. Alright, I don't remember how to end one of these ones, so here's a photo of a monkey